We'll chant some of the previous names of Puja Gurudev and then we'll see one more name tonight. Om Brahma Paraya Namaha.
Om Brahma Paraya Namaha.
Om Bhayanashanaya Namaha.
Om Bhayanashanaya Namaha.
Om Bharata Gauravaya Namaha.
Om Bharata Gauravaya Namaha.
Om Bhumne Namaha.
Om Bhumne Namaha.
Om Mahavakyopadeshakaya Namaha.
Om Mahavakyopadeshakaya Namaha.
Om Maharshaye Namaha.
Om Maharshaye Namaha.
Om Madhurasvabhavaya Namaha.
Om Madhurasvabhavaya Namaha.
Om Manoharaya Namaha.
Om Manoharaya Namaha.
Om Manoharaya Namaha.
Om Manoharaya Namaha.
This is a very common name in Trinidad. You ever heard? Yeah, everywhere in Trinidad you have people named Manohar. Manohar. So he calls us Manohar. They're made up of two words in Sanskrit. Man is mind. Har comes from, means hara comes from hri, means to kidnap, literally. To steal away, to kidnap. So it means that a person who named Manohar, it is the name of Krishna also. Manohar means he is so charming, so lovely, so sweet, so wonderful, that if there is anything else there, you don't want to look at that thing or interact with that thing. If he is there, he steals away your mind. He is called as Manohar. So, if ever you had the opportunity to be in company of a saint, you will know that thing. You don't care what is going on elsewhere. And let me tell you something. You don't even care what your fears and your concerns and your everything. If you go there with a confusion, you go there with a question in front of Gurudev, you lose all that also. Once you sit in front of him, you lose all awareness of any problem that you have been having. When you go to ask some problem, some solution to some problem, you yourself forget what the problem is. Manohar. So Manoharaya Namaha. This is one of the mark of saints, sadhus, mahatmas. There was, in fact, let me tell you something. He is the solution to all problems because he is Paramatma. He is the solution to all questions. Every question can only be answered, given an answer that is relatively true. You cannot give an absolute answer for that question. The answer that will be given will be true only from a certain perspective. So then, there is only one true answer to all questions in the universe. That is Paramatma, Atma. So when you go there in front of the Paramatma, one who has realized himself, you also forget question. Because that question gets dissolved in front of the Absolute. He steals your mind away because of his very presence, charming nature, and his deep adherence to the reality. Amazing thing. Manoharaya Namaha. Salutations to that one who steals away our mind. Okay, so now we are seeing chapter 13. If you are joining us for the first time tonight. Now 13:13 we have to see. From there. We'll chant from 13:13. That's where we reached last night. We'll chant from there. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
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 Neyam yat tat pravakshami yajñātvā mritamāshnute.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Anādimat param brahma na sattannasadurtyate.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Sarvatra padam tat sarvatokshishiro mukham.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Sarvatra shrutimaloke sarvamavrityate shati.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Sarvendriyonaphasam sarvendriyavivarjitam.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Asaktam sarvabhicchaiva nirgunam gunabhokta.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Ahirantashya bhutanam acharam charameva cha.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Sukshmatvat tadavigneyam durastham chantike tat.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Boye Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai. Very special welcome to all of you, and very special welcome to, good that Pandiratma ji is here with us also today. I know some, with your busy schedule and all, sometimes you will not find it possible to be here, but good that you are here. Nyayam yattat pravakshyami. I told you, Bhagavan is trying in this section now to, in most amazing, you will never find the description of reality nowhere in scriptures of the world as you will find it in this section which we started last night. Nyayam yattat pravakshyami yajñātvā amritam ashnute. That thing which ought to be known, I explained that to you in detail last night. It is anadimat, beginningless. God was not begun at any time. Reality did not begin at any time. Reality is beyond time. This universe also did not begin at any time. This universe, we'll see, it will come just now. It's always been there, anadi. So Bhagavan is described in the scriptures as anadimat, beginningless by nature. Brahma, the absolute reality, nasattan nasaduchyate, which we saw last night, or see today. That absolute concept of God, which is provided by the Upanishads and in Bhagavad Gita here, which is attributeless, Nirguna, which is just now also will come there, which is without attributes, which is all pervasive, infinite, and all those descriptions which are given, cannot be conceived by the human mind. Human mind, being finite, can only conceive finite things, you see. Is it 2 inches by 1.5 inches by 1 inch, or 3/4 of an inch? It is a finite thing, so it can come within the ambit of the mind. But that is because the mind itself is finite, so it can conceive of finite things. But the infinite, the mind cannot conceive. All those words will come. So because the mind cannot conceive of the infinite, the infinite is now described using finite ideas and terminologies and all that kind of thing, so that at least the mind has something to grapple with. Otherwise the mind will be left dangling. It has something to grapple with here. So now it is saying, in our human terms now, Bhagavan says that reality is sarvata panipadam tat sarvatok shishiro mukham. Sarvata panipadam tat means he has hands and feet everywhere. So when people read it, if you take that literally, but how do you see hands and feet? Where they? Because Gita says have hands and feet everywhere. The Gita wrong, because nobody does see. That's not the meaning. The meaning is that, see, hands and feet, if you go back to the Atma Bodh, Tattva Bodh and all the Prakashananda Granthas where the terminologies are described and all, and in Sanskrit, the function of the hand is to do, karoti. Pani, here pani is there, pani is hand, pani not water. So one man read and tell me, say, pani, like water. And many people ask, what is Bhagavad Gita? And they say, Swamiji, I can read that thing there in Hindi. Get all your terminologies and things right. Pani is hand. Padam. Pani padam. Padam means feet. So his hands and feet everywhere means what? All movement. Chalanam. The feet is for going. Means movement. Locomotion. Not loco, just stop there. The feet is for locomotion. So, all movement in the universe, all movement is possible only because the reality is there. All action, means every verb. How many verbs you know? We ourselves is a verb. That's why we call human being. To be is a verb or not? We are being. To be, I am. You are, he, she, or it is. All verbs is symbolized by pani and the hand, because the hand does. So all the doing that is going on in the universe and all the movement that is going on in the universe, it is possible only because of the presence of reality. Sarvata pani padam tat. Second thing you have to remember there, he is the one who is doing everything. We think that we are doing. That karitritva bhava, the doership, we feel that we are doing so many things. I am going here, I am going there, and with our feet we say, I am going here, I am going there. If Bhagavan wishes, you will stay home, you will not be able to go anywhere. Means he is the one who is taking us there. But we feel that we are, that father telling the little fella, father driving here and the little boy sit down there. Father, watch the dashboard. Oh God, we were not a gas. And the little boy goes, God, Dad, really? Yes, we were not a gas. The father knows that we have enough gas to reach the gas station, right? But the little boy take it seriously. He says, okay, Dad, you don't worry. You don't worry. You drive. I go push. And he pushing the dashboard now. He pushing the dashboard. I'm giving all his strength. You just stay. and he pushed the car all the way to the gas station. He feel that he pushing the car. And your father also praised me. Good, beta, you strong. My father would go and tell the story also to the mother. You know, we shut down for gas. And he pushed the car all the way to the gas. And he happy too bad. That time the car itself carrying he. But he feel he pushing that car. In the very same way, Bhagavan himself is carrying us. He's doing everything. But we feel that we are in exactly the same way. Just you have not yet come to that realization. But it is exactly the same way. Sarvata pani padantat, all movement, the world is spinning. We saw that now. Evam, in this way, vartikam chakram, the whole world is spinning only because of Bhagwan's presence. Sarvata pani padantat, he is getting everything done. Sarvato kshishiro mukham, sarvataha akshi shira and mukham. Everywhere he has eyes, heads and mouth. Mouth means he devours everything, but is that pervading the whole universe or not? Everything is being devoured, isn't it? Head, everything is being registered and known. And eyes, seen. You can't see, I told you last night, no? Human beings have all sorts of crazy beliefs in their heads and all, and we have this and that. And, oh man. One of the great things about spirituality, it helps you to remove all the cobwebs from your head. Had a lot of cobwebs. So, some of the cobwebs are like that. You know, if I do something in private, nobody can know. But if I do it in public, everybody go, yeah. But Bhagavan has sarvataha akshi. Sarvataha akshi means he has eyes everywhere. Last night I was giving the example of how people have all sorts of beliefs in their head about fasting and not eating meat and this and that. Amazing thing. We tell people, no, wait, today I eat meat, I can't go in the temple, you know. Temple? No. I'll get sin. I eat meat, I can't go there. And Bhagavan tells in the 15th chapter, he there in the belly digesting the food. So you eat the meat and he fall on top of his head. And then you're telling somebody, I can't go in the temple. Kya baat hai? See, human beings, how we live. In the 15th chapter, we'll see that. Just now come in. We've done reach 13 already. He digesting the food. He said, Ham Vaishvana Rubhutva Praninam Deham Ashita Pranapana Samayukta Pachami Annam Chatur Vidham. The 4 types of food, I am there in the stomach digest. Only 4 types of food? What about the rest? Undigested? 4 types of food there covers all food that we'll see. So, he has eyes everywhere, mouth everywhere, heads everywhere, he knows everything. All these things that are going on in the world, he knows. It is being registered. Sometimes people call it is being registered in the Akashic records. People like nice words, eh? Akashic record. That sounds so fabulous. Wait there. Everything that is happening. And let me tell you something. Don't let the limitations of the human intellect mislead you into thinking anything finite or anything ephemeral. When we say that everything is being recorded, we mean everything. Behind what I am saying, there are gestures, there is a bhav, there is the selection of certain words, and there is a tone, intonation. There are so many things which comes out with the speech. Every single bit of it is being recorded. Not only. This is not the parliament. No, every single bit of it. Hansard will only get to no tone. Why is it being recorded by Hansard there? one tone is being with hands, I'll only record the words. Then that fellow will come, no, I didn't say it like that, That time he's angry like hell when he shouted there. But now he's in his sweet word, the tone and everything. Change answer, how you record tone. So, sarvataha, from all sides, their mouth, head, eyes, feet, hands, everything. This whole universe is pervaded by God. Sarvata shrutimaloke sarva mahavritya tishtati. Actually, there is a summation. Because when Bhagavan goes stop, he said, sarvata shrutimaloke, I have airs everywhere. So, if he continue with a list like that, when he goes stop, I have hands everywhere, feet everywhere, eyes everywhere, mouth everywhere, belly, you can't put belly everywhere, isn't it? Tongue everywhere. I have money everywhere. Because all money belong to? Lakshmi is your wife or what? Lakshmi belongs to? All money is? Bhagwan. So when that list could finish, so Bhagwan realized that I can't finish this list, I better say, Sarva Mahavritya Tishta. Look here. Forget I have this, then I stand pervading the entire universe. That covers now everything. Because when you go finish, Sarve, now see, besides the pervasiveness, which is the main theme in that, the pervasiveness, which is the main theme in that verse, of course, the doership, the agency of Bhagwan as the ultimate agent of all things, there is the agency of the Lord not only in the gross things outside, like when you see the breeze blowing, it's a gross thing, right? I mean, a tree shaking, when you see things transpiring in the universe, there's the agency of the Lord in all of it. His hands are there, making everything happen. But there's the agency of Bhagwan even in the subtler things, like in our perception. How do you perceive and how do you think and how do you, ponder, how do you do syllogistic, discursive thinking? How do you get yourself, how do all those things happen? In the next verse which we just chanted, he says, Sarvendriya gunabhasam sarvendriya vivarjitam. All the indriyas, they are functioning, right? All senses and eyes. You see, and we don't stop to think how the senses are functioning. He says, Abhasam, he is giving them the light and the wherewithal for all of them to function. Without him, without reality, none of them could. Sarvendriya gunabhasam. All of their qualities and what they do, their functions, Abhasam, they're pervaded by his light of consciousness. And so they do what they do. And the process is so involved and so intricate, the mind cannot think about it. I mean, the mind cannot really know it unless people for generations do research and find out how that is happening. They will find out some elements of it and all that kind of thing. How the senses are working. And it's an amazing thing. See, light from the bulb has to fall on your face. That has to be reflected off your face, pass through the pupils in my eye, fall on the lens, and get refracted in such a way that it falls exactly at a certain point on the retina. From there, from light energy, it changes now into an electric energy, which goes through the nerves, jump the synapses of every nerve cell to the other one without touching. It jump over there. Electrical impulse, and goes to the brain. Sparks of certain types of chemicals in the brain. It changes over to chemical energy. Then something happens there because there has to be some recollective depot. So this piece of information has to now tally with That piece of information. And oh, Mr. Ramaswamy, you are here. How it happens? One type of energy being converted into another type of energy, and in the final stage of that thing, the result is knowledge. You don't think. Nobody thinks. Cabbage gone up this week. Everybody, the prices to go to New York so expensive these days, are gone online. But you know what you must do? You must go at 1 a.m. You go online, you get a cheap ticket. So everybody know where is the best destination, how much the ticket costs, which airline better, which airline more reliable, what the price of cabbage, baigan cheap, baigan knocking dog. Trinidad line. So all the gross worldly thing they work, we know. Where? Sarvendriya Gunabhasam. How this reality pervades every iota of our being and all the senses and make them function. And without that, nothing. Who thinks? But if you really want to do vichar, I told them on the previous night, this is my favorite section of this chapter. If you really want to get involved in vichar, and let me tell you one more thing. We are just here for an hour and a half, and we'll finish this chapter just in a couple days. But this chapter and these verses, they require your lifetime of reflection. I can't keep you here for the whole lifetime. We'll just go through the words and see. But I'm trying to impress upon you the gravity of the words in the verse. They're tremendous words. You have to go on reflecting on them. Sarvendriya gunabhasam, sarvendriya vivarjita. But even though this reality is there, making all the senses function and making them do what they do, the reality is in no way entangled in any of the shortcomings and debilities that are characteristic of these sense organs. Like, for example, the eyes become weak after some time. Right? So you say, the Brahman who was there in the eye, who was supporting the eye and making the eye see, now Brahman too become weak. Poor fella. No. He's supporting the eye, making the eye see, but like, for example, when the gas in the car, making the car go, and the car get into an accident, but the gas bend up or what? When the car hit, bam, fender bend. You'd have to carry the gas by the body shop. No, nothing happens. It remains as it was. In the very same way, when the instruments, when they become weaker, non-functional, whatever you want to call them, that Brahman which is there beneath, making them work, it remains untouched. Sarvendriya vivarjitam. Vivarjitam means beyond, supersedes all of these sense organs and all, and is not touched. When you see destruction going on in the universe, which is part of the universe, the reality is untouched. Nothing happens. When you see a wave fold over, collapse and break, H2O remains untouched. H2O remains as H2O. Nothing happens. So this is what is going on. Asaktam sarvabhritchaiva nirgunam gunabhoktricha. He is, even though supporting sarvabhrit. Sarvabhrit means he is the supporter of all things in the universe. But asaktam. Asaktam means unattached to anything. Unattached. So it's not the type of support which you know. See, support means what? This flag is standing there. There's a pole which is supporting. That is, structure is being supported by pillars. See, the roof and all. Not that type of support you're talking about. Sarvabhrit means the supporter of all things, the sustainer of all things. Meaning to say what? Like how the clay supports the pot. The clay doesn't support the pot like a pillar supporting a building. The clay supports the pot by being the pot. You understand that different type of support? Otherwise, what word are you going to use in English now? For that type of support, there is no special word. So we end up with the word support in English. But Sarvabhrit in Sanskrit gives directly that meaning. But in English, there is no word that gives that. I mean, when we say support, we mean, he paying alimony, he paying this pillar supporting, that kind of support we know, isn't it? Child support, he paying child support. That type of support and this type of support. Or you go and support some political party. We are talking about he supports the pot by being the pot. There's the clay. In this case, Bhagavan supports the universe by being the universe. All names and forms and all whatever you see. But even though supporting, asaktam. Why is given asaktam? That is to take your mind away from the type of support which you know. Because this pillar is supporting this building. If you remove the pillar, I mean the pillar is supporting the building. If you remove the pillar, the building collapses. Bhagwan's support of this universe cannot be removed because Bhagwan go. But he is all pervasive, na? He can't go anywhere. He is everything. So, to take your mind away from that type of support. Asaktam sarvabhritchaiva gunam nirgunam gunabhoktricha. It means he is without qualities. This sattva, rajas, tamas and all that is not there in Bhagwan. He is not sattvic, rajasic or tamasic. Guna also means qualities. Guna has two meaning. One, when you say qualities, you mean sattva, rajas and tamas. Guna also means any other quality. This fellow is a wicked fellow. Durgun, we say. So any quality, any trait, characteristic is called also guna in Sanskrit. So, Bhagavan is nirguna. We can't say he like this, he like that. When he has conditioned himself by his Maya and then he takes the form of Ishvara, then he develops now, from that level onwards, he develops guna, qualities. So there now he takes on certain, see, this Nirguna word is very, very troubling for many people. Let me spend some time on it. Checking to see how much time I have. At the same time, just now when we were studying, Bhagavan is Manohara. He's so charming. He could steal your mind away, isn't it? But that seems like a quality. But now you come back and the same Bhagavad Gita is saying, no, he Nirguna, without any qualities. So this sort of idea is in the Shastra. Bhagavan is all loving, all compassionate, kripalu, dayalu. Qualities, isn't it? We go on saying all the time, na? Dina dayalu. Then how do I say Nirguna? Without qualities. So it is like that. Brahman, the absolute reality. Oh, I'll give you a simple example first from ordinary life, then you can see. If you take two water molecules, right? One teacher asking a boy, he said, what is the formula for water? He said HIJKLMNO. HIJKLMNO. Did she say, what? Who teach you that? You? When I teach you that, you only say H2O. H2O. Huh? HIJKLMNO. You take two molecules of water. Yeah? And you look into them. Do you see any waves? You'll see any waves in them? You take 10 molecules, 11 molecules, a million molecules, trillion, gazillion molecules. Right? You'll see any wave in them? No. Water doesn't inherently have any wave. It's pure H2 only. When this whole body of water is there on the ocean now. You see, the water, the wave is not in the sky, eh? The wave is in the water. So, water has waves or not? Well, water doesn't have wave inherently. But when a whole big body of water comes together, it is possible that waves may form from that water. Meaning to say that it contains a possibility inherent in it to form waves. So it may or may not have waves. Because there are many water bodies in the world that don't have waves. In the very same way, pure Brahman is like H2O, you know. If you look into it, you don't see any gunas. See here the water, if you look into it, you don't see any waves. But it contains that possibility inherent in it or not. Brahman is like that. Reality is like that. No guna, no quality, no differentiation, no attribute, no nothing if you look. But contains infinite possibilities. Now, see, like water doesn't have infinite possibilities, you know. It can only form waves. Waves of a certain type, pattern like that. The water cannot certainly, the ocean is there and some water gone up like that and it form a man. The possibility not there, isn't it? The possibility which is there only is to form a wave. But Brahman, pure absolute reality, contains infinite possibilities inherent in it. When we look at H2O under the microscope, we call it H2O. When we look that same H2O in the ocean, now nobody says, come, let us go see H2O. Let us go Marcus H2O. Who says? Marcus Beach. So it's ocean, it is called as ocean. You see? Now, when you're looking under the microscope, it's called as water. When you see a big body altogether, it is called, means H2O, there it is called as ocean. In the very same way, when we look at Brahman without traits and qualities, attributes and all, it's called as Brahman. When we look at that same Brahman now with all the traits and what you call, all the inherent possibilities within that Brahman, and I just told you the inherent possibilities are infinite. That time, that Brahman is called as Ishvara. Those inherent possibilities is his Maya. When he's seen with his Maya, he's called as Ishvara. That Ishvara now manifests as Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. Now they have, now attributes, qualities have started now. Because Brahmaji is the one who manifests things. Vishnu is the one who sustains things. And Lord Shiva is the one who dissolves things. Right? Please try to use those words. All the other words, creator, sustainer, destroyer, and all that kind of things, all British words given to you, which are all wrong words. He manifests the universe, sustains the universe, and dissolves the universe. And there's a big difference between destruction and dissolution. So use those type of words. Dissolves the universe. So anyway, when he's seen as pure Brahman, like looking at water under the microscope, he's called Nirguna, no qualities, no traits, no characteristics. But we know inherent in water, not only that thing is inherent in water, you know, water also has the inherence of the possibility of being solid, liquid, or gas. But under microscope, you don't see any of those things. So there are a few possibilities inherent in water. But in Brahman, infinite possibilities. So if you're looking without the inherent possibilities, you're looking at one pure, uniform, undifferentiated thing that I will call as Brahman. That is Nirguna. If you're looking with the possibilities, then Saguna. So many qualities. Now this is one of the most subtle philosophical principles given in the Upanishad for us to understand. And let me tell you something. Don't say, Swamiji, why you hurting my head with all that? You better start hurting your head now, because you jump high or you jump low, sooner or later, you're going to have to hurt your head with it. If not this lifetime, in some lifetime. So better start now. If your mind is not ready for it now, that is okay. You can take a recess, no problem. But sometime you will have to do it. But even though he is without guna, nirguna, in absolute form as Brahman, he is guna bhoktri. Next word. Guna bhoktri means without him, none of the qualities that we see in the world, nice, all nice things, nice colors and traits and things of the world, none of it will be experienced. So it's guna bhoktri. Only because he is there, everything is experienced. Bahirantasya bhutanam acharam charam evacha. He is inside and outside of all beings, inside and outside of all things. And Bahi is outside. Anta is inside. Bhutanam, all things in the universe. Acharam charam evacha. He moves and he moves not. It's pure Upanishad. It's coming from the Upanishad. Bhagavan has lifted many things from the Upanishad directly and has put it in this Bhagavad Gita. And this is like a Mundaka Upanishad, you see. He moves and he moves not. Meaning to say what? He is everywhere. He's appearing, he has movement, and he's appearing behind the movement as stillness also, because any movement can only be known in reference to stillness. How you know? If you are out in space and two objects are moving parallel to each other, you are in this one and the other one is moving parallel, you will not know that there is movement. One has to be still. Then you will know that there is movement. So Bhagavan is moving and not moving at the same time. That's one other way to look at it. One other way to look at that. This phrase is given to indicate his all-pervasiveness. His all-pervasiveness. Charam, acharam, and charam. He is moving and unmoving. Sukshmatvat. Now see that line. We chanted this verse already. Sukshmatvat tad avigneyam. Do you know? This section started. You go back to that word, you will see. Nyeyam yattat pravakshyami. That which ought to be known. I am going to tell you that thing. Nyeyam yattat pravakshyami. Right? Which ought to be known. Now in this verse he says that thing cannot be known. Why didn't tell me that in the beginning? He said, I want to study all these things. You make me hot my hair and bust my hair, all kind of thing. And now you say, avigneyam. He himself just now said niyam. Thing to be known. Now he's telling it cannot be known. And Bhagavan, your Leela is too much for me, eh? But he gives a nice word there. And see these words in Sanskrit is so nice. Sukshmatvat tad avigneyam. That reality, that reality, sukshmatvat, because it is sukshma. Sukshma means subtle. It is not knowable to the final instrument of knowledge, which is the intellect. Our final instrument of knowledge is intellect. But the reality being sukshma, subtler than the intellect itself, how the intellect will be able to grasp that thing? It cannot. So sukshmatvat, it cannot be known by the intellect. So how then did you say, I'm going to tell you that thing which ought to be known? So now here is this thing. The teachings of the Upanishad is, we cannot, a simple example I give you all the time, when the salt doll wants to know the depth of the ocean, the sage said, well, my dear doll, if you want to know the depth of the ocean, you will have to dive in. So the doll dived in. When the doll dived in, then what happens? Well, the doll became the ocean. That is what happens in the final analysis. This is exactly the teaching of Vedanta and the Upanishads. When Bhagavan said that thing which ought to be known, he does not mean that you will be able to objectively know that reality. He means to say that thing which ought to be known, you should merge in. Like the doll merging in the ocean. That is why I say, Brahmavit Brahmeva Bhavati. This is a famous quote from the Upanishad. The knower of Brahman becomes Brahman. The knower of God has to become God. You cannot just stay outside and know objectively. That is why, that is the meaning of this phrase, that Sukshmatva tat avigneyam. Because of its subtlety, cannot be known by the intellect. But one can merge in Brahman. And that is what is meant by knowing. And Nyayam, it ought to be known, which he spoke about previously. Though the same word is being used, that is a limitation of language also. Nyayam, what ought to be known, means what you have to merge in and become. That is the idea. Here, to know it, what it means here, avigneyam, but it cannot be known objectively. You will have to really give up your individuality and merge in Brahman. How wonderfully the Lord puts it. He says, Durastham chantike chatat. It is far away, but it is the closest thing to us also. All pervasiveness or not. It is far away, that reality, but it is the closest thing to us also. It is our very own self. There is nothing in this world closer than God, Brahman. You may think, my children, my parents, my husband, my wife, Munna, that they're close. You start to think about close yet. Antike. Antika. And in very famous verse, that next verse, see that. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Avibhaktam ca bhuteshu vibhaktam eva ca sritam.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Bhuta bhartri ca tajñeyam grasishno bhaveshno ca.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Jyotishyamapi tajyotihi. Jyotishyamapi tajyotihi. Tamasa paramodyate.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Jnanam nyeyam jnanagamyam hridi sarvasya veshchitam.
Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama.
Bole Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai. Avibhaktam vibhakteshu. Bhagavan is that which have you heard in English? You see, I'm throughout this whole 108 night yajna, I've been telling about so many phrases that we hear in English language, which have their direct origin from the Bhagavad Gita, though people do not give the credit. Have you heard in English language the phrase unity in diversity? Well, this is exactly where it comes from. Avibhaktam vibhakteshu. Vibhakteshu means in the diversity. Vibhakteshu, that is the meaning of the word, the phrase. in the diversity, literally, in the diversity, in the fragmented universe which you see, it is 7 case. In locative it is. In that fragmented universe which you see, meaning to say, in the diversity which you see in front of you, he says, I am avibhaktam. I am the undifferentiated, undivided unity. The unity, in other words, in the whole variegated universe. I am that unity. The universe, unity in the whole diversity. I am the one thing which is undivided in all the divided universe which you see. Because everything you see divided, cut up into pieces, nah. There's one object, there's one object, there's everything broken up. Fragmented universe. The diversity. So I am that one thread running through all things, the unity in all things. Avivaktam vibhakteshu. Vibhaktam evacha sthitam. Appearing, now that part of the phrase is left out. It will be more important part. I am the one undivided, undifferentiated reality appearing as divided. This is pure Vedanta now. Because just now, there seems to have been a fragmented universe on the one hand, and on the other hand, a reality which is somehow in and amongst that divided universe. But he said, no. Don't think like that. Vedanta is very strict about these type of things. Gita, Upanishad, are very strict about these type of things. See here, there's a difference. See, all of us are sitting here, right? And there are so many objects beside people, so many things. But in between all of them, there is space. Like between me and you, there is some space. So we say, with the first phrase, I am the one unit thing, unbroken thing among all the broken things, the fragmented things. So we could say, well, that he is like space. Because space is like that. Space is the one thing which is common everywhere. Because the Trinidad space and America space and European space is all same space. Space is space. Like just like the space we had. So that also is space. It's still space. So, immediately, to avoid any such misunderstanding, he's saying, in the next phrase, Vibhaktam evacha sthitam. I am the one all-pervading thing appearing to be fragmented. Means now there are 2 things. There is only one thing which appears to be eva. Eva means like, as though it is fragmented. It is as though Bhagavan is fragmented into space, air, fire, water, earth, people, objects, tree, ocean, all different things, and planets and stars and constellations, and he fragmented himself into, it is as though he is fragmented. In other words, he is really not fragmented. There's an appearance of fragmentation. All of these ideas are deeply embedded in these verses, which require so much of thinking. Bhuta bhartri cha tajñeyam garsishnu prabha vishnu cha. This means, this line here is the line from where we get this. He as Ishvara is Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh. Because Prabha Vishnu means Brahmaji. Prabha Vishnu. How? He is the one who manifests all things. Bring all things into manifestation. He brings all things into manifestation. Prabha Vishnu. Grasishnu devours all things. Shiva. He is a Shiva. Means all things get dissolved. And Bhuta Bhartri means he is the one who sustains. Just now we saw that word. Bhartri. He is sustainer. Supporter of all things. Vishnu. Lord Vishnu. So in this line, is this the praman for that here all the time? Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. Tulsidas, she also talks about it all the time. Oh, we chanted the next verse already. Jyotisham apitat jyotihi. Tamasa paramuchyate jnanam nyayam jnanagamyam hridi sarvasya vishtitam. Means Jyotisham apitat jyotihi. He is the light of all light. Means he is the brightest light we know is the sun. The brightest light we know is the sun. But see, if you just look at the phrase a little bit, the brightest light we know So really speaking, the final light is the light of knowledge. Suppose none of us had this light of knowledge, would we know that there is any sun? Means the sun itself, this is a philosophical point. It comes in also in European philosophy. The sun itself owes its existence to our knowledge. Because if nobody had knowledge, there would be no such thing as sun. They go together. Noah and known. Remember, I was telling you the pairs of opposite, they go together. If there is no such thing as hot, there can be no such thing as cold. One cannot exist without the other. They are interdependent. So Noah and known are also interdependent. So if there were no Noah, there will be no known. You can't minus that from the pairs of opposite also. So now, the ultimate Noah is the light of consciousness. So there is a light of all lights. Jyotisham avitat jyotihi. The ultimate Noah in all of us is the light of consciousness. Tamasa paramuchite, beyond all tamas, all darkness of ignorance. That light. It is jnanam. This word is taken from the Taittiriya Upanishad. Brahman, the absolute reality, God is called as jnanam. He is called as knowledge, pure knowledge. Means pure awareness, pure consciousness. All of these mean the same thing. Satyam jnanam anantam brahma. There it is said. Is Satyam, is jnanam, is anantam, is Brahma. All those names are given. Here also is jnanam. Reality is called as jnanam. Knowledge, pure knowledge, per se, not knowledge of something. There is a knowledge, I have knowledge of this book. So that is a particularized knowledge. Acha, see here. I have knowledge of book. Take away a book. I have knowledge of empty hand. Take away empty hand. I have knowledge of the light which is here. Close your eyes. Does it mean to say that my knowledge has gone away? I still have knowledge, just knowledge of nothing. So that's called knowledge per se, means knowledge of the absence of things. Do I know or not? I still know of the absence of things. But in the first part of the sentence, I still know. It's just I don't know anything in particular. That is called knowing per se. Knowledge per se. Like that. You have to think along that line. They call it jnanam. Reality. Jnayam. Jnayam means what ought to be, just the same word coming back now 3 times. Jnayam. That is the thing for us to know, means to be. Is jnayam. Is jnanagamyam. Now see, this is at the relative. All this Gita study which we are doing is to do what? To know that reality, to become that reality. So that reality is called jnanagamya, means he is the thing to be acquired through all of this knowledge which you are studying. That is called jnanagamya. To be known through jnana, through knowledge. Means through the acquisition of knowledge like this. We are acquiring knowledge now. So this is knowledge at the relative level. So through the acquisition of this type of knowledge, he is the thing that will be reached. He is called as jnanagamyam. Hridi sarvasya vishtitam. He is there at the heart. You see, these type of phrases, they are taken and really misinterpreted, misunderstood, taken at a very superficial level. He's in the heart of all beings. That's what people translate. The translation is so limited. It's not untrue, but it is, the translation is falls so short of what. Sarvasya in Sanskrit. Sarva in Sanskrit means all. All means not all beings, all things. Sarva pronoun in Sanskrit means all things, living, non-living, sentient, insentient, charam, acharam, moving, unmoving, every single thing you can think about, that is called as sarva. So sarvasya hridi vishtitam. Bhagwan, or the reality is that which is there in the heart of all things. In the heart of all things. Now I want you to think about one more idea, which is heart of all things. Heart of all things is an amazing word. See, heart of the human being is somewhere in the heart, right? Them doctor and them know the heart is somewhere inside it. I never see it. But when the Shastras speak about heart, it is not speaking about that heart. It is speaking about the very center of the human being, the core of the human being, right? That is the heart. Okay, take it. Now this human being is made up of 10 trillion cells. Each cell will have its own heart or not. There will be the core of that cell or not. Oh yes. Every cell will have its own heart. So now where is the heart? Everything in the universe has a core. Every atom will have a core. That will be the heart. So then heart now also is all pervasive. And he is there in the heart of all things. So where is he now? This is how you have to understand the word. People translate that, Bhagavan is in your heart, you know. He's sitting there. I feel Lord Shiva. That's why you have heartache all the time. You have a Trishul sitting there, you know. That people get heartache and all. Because you imagining that Bhagavan sitting there in whichever form. You don't want imagining like this thing, what? Bhagavan Sri Ram there. Kodandaram. Bow and arrow. Ram can shake because when he shakes, so that arrow will stick you. Bhagavan is there as the very, now see, at the heart of all things. If you think, there's one more step now. Let's go down one more step. If you think, at the heart of all things, really is nothing but existence. At the root of all things is nothing but existence. Because the final building block of the universe, the visible, apparent universe which we see in front of us, the final building block is not atoms and electrons and strings and neutrinos and quarks and all. The final building block beyond energy also is existence. Final building block of the universe. Bhagavan is that existence, is at the root of all things. The very core of all things. So he says, I am Sarvasya Hridi Vishtitam, there in the heart of the core of all things. And the very essence of all things is existence. I am that existence. Idi kshetram tatha jnanam nyayam chokta samasataha madbhakta etad vijnaya madbhava yopapadyate. He concludes this section. And I told you, this section which we just read from yesterday and today, Nyayam yattat pravakshyami, from there to madbhava yopapadyate, till here. This requires your lifetimes of reflection. You have to go on taking every phrase, every word there. I just today, in passing, do you only touch the, they say the tip of the iceberg? Tip of the iceberg, you see a little tip on the top, but what's really beneath the ocean there? You have to go on reflecting. He says, Iti kshetram, thus I have related to you the kshetra, the field, in which he did in the beginning. Tatha jnanam, all the great qualities that lead to jnan, which we saw from 2 days ago. What is that? Amanitvam adambitvam ahimsa kshanti arjavam. Like from there. Jnanam. So iti, thus I have told you the kshetram, the field, which he told on the first 2 verses. I have told about jnanam, the qualities that lead to knowledge. Amanitvam adambitvam. Nyayam, that thing which ought to be known. See, Bhagavan, when you want to learn how to write a PhD thesis, study Bhagavan. He tells what he's going to tell. Then he tells what he told he's going to tell. Then he tells what he has told. That's why they call this portion is called Jnana, no? Jnana portion. Spashta Roop se. Some crystal clear. He has made every single thing. Cha Uktam, all of them. Uktam means I have told all of them. And then he says Samasataha. That's what I just told you. This is all told briefly. But the infinite reality, how long you can go on talking? So briefly I have told. And then he says a really nice thing. So no, this is the wonderful Phalastuti. Phalastuti says, Mad Bhakta etad vijnaya. My devotee, if he knows these three things which I have just told, means he studies, reflect, ponder, ruminate, masticate, they contemplate, constantly do vichar on this thing which I have told, constantly, etad vijnaya, he said, madbhavaya upapadyate. He becomes fit for my state. Right there. The whole formula for enlightenment is right in these verses right there. That person becomes fit for my state. What a wonderful phalastuti, this line. And see how many things are involved there? Mad bhakta. That person should be a bhakta. Then etad vijnaya means having studied and known this thing which I have taught here. So knowledge has to be there. Now bhakti alone, he has to be a bhakta of Bhagavan, but that doesn't absolve that person from a deep and profound study of Bhagavad Gita and the principles therein. No. You carry Bhagavan, ching, Majira and all sit down there. No. Me have to hot my head with all this Bhagavad Gita business. No. The two things he gives there. You have to be a devotee of Bhagavan. And etad vijnaya means having known what I have just taught. That person becomes fit for his state. The two things are required. Karma yoga is only part of bhakti yoga. I told you that before. Really speaking, they're just two. Karma is the initial stages of bhakti yoga only. So the two things have to be there. And Bhagavan says that person becomes fit for my state. The most wonderful phalastuti. Now, it seems that the chapter done. I told you last night or one of the previous nights that Bhagavan lived in a time when there were many types of terminologies floating around. Even today I told, there are so many types of terminologies floating around. People don't know what is what. Because there are so many sampradayas and so many guru shishya parampara and there are so many, different types of traditions and it's amazing. Big. And don't think there is any solution. There is no solution. In other religions of the world, they have one God and one scripture. And they feel that is the solution. Not at all the solution. Christianity came first and thought, what is Hindu people? So many gods, so many shastras. We will construct a religion, we will have only one God. And we will only have one shastra. And anybody says otherwise, right? Do you know the first people to do this, Christians, who thought, let us do this thing, one God, one scripture. Do you know how many denominations there are in Christianity? The thing which they tried to avoid or to remove means the variety. Do you know what the number of denominations? 37,000 denominations, legitimate denominations in Christianity. And some don't go in some church too. They're forbidden to go in the next man. Church. How you get rid of the variety? Bhagavan himself just knows, among the variety, I am the one thing which is pervading the whole variety. He never said, get rid of the variety. That is in Nitya. You see? So now Bhagavan himself very aware of this thing in his time. This sampradaya, this guru, that guru, this tradition, this so many varieties were there. And there are some words that become very popular and very well known and all that kind of thing, right? So now he has to deal with those words. And in this Bhagavad Gita, he does it so nicely. From this sampradaya, that tradition, that parampara, he deals with all of these words and terminologies and ideas, and you will see that in the end, they just use a different terminology, but they're speaking about the same thing. So now what is the other two terminologies he's going to introduce there now? Purusha and Prakriti. Again, now to speak about the same reality and all. Purusha, Prakriti, you have heard these terminologies before. Tulsidas ji also uses them. That we shall see tomorrow in Golconda.